Happy Thursday, everyone. And here's Pat in a Hat. What's going on, everyone? My name is Jonathan Sawyer with Cinco Squad. With me is Mike Sano, Pat in the Hat.
Hello.
And you know Grandpa Jay is going to be at least 5 to 10 minutes late. I'm taking a bet on 10, but
hey man, he was on time last week, so he's got to reset his schedule.
Hold on, early payme parlay over under 10 minutes on how late Jay's going to be.
I'm gonna go equal.
Over.
Okay. All right.
Right on the equal.
Equal. That's a push.
That's a push. I'll push.
I'll take the under on that. I have faith.
How you guys doing this week?
Doing all right.
I need my drink from you.
No, doing good. Besides the rain outside, it's been not a bad week for me.
Yeah, man. I just want to get outside. It's all rainy and shit.
I know.
A lot of good sports on. The final weekend of NFL was last weekend. We had a lot of good college basketball games as well. And then we had some sort of game on Monday that I guess was practice. But
one team played.
One team played. The other stayed in the locker room looking at, wow. Look
Georgia
at this.
Georgia ran a lot of cool warm-up plays.
And they got chicken wings on the sideline.
Yes, they did.
Big respect.
So what was the highlight of your weekends? I want to go out first. I was interested to ask that. Like, what game stood out to you first? Because I know we had a lot of talk about the NFL, and there was like 9 to 10 games. Like, what was your first game that you think was like, oh wow, that was sweet? I didn't watch the last one, but
go ahead, Mike. I gotta remember last week.
Yeah, no, I'm kind of circling back at all the good games. Honestly, I think it wasn't necessarily one game that was the highlight for me. It was the 4:00 tension for the last NFC or the NFC and AFC playoffs, the wild card teams. As far as all the teams that were in it, and it disappointed me that by the time we got to the 8:00 Packers Lions, that it could only be the Packers. But maybe maybe that was my favorite game, was the Packers Lions game, and seeing the Lions be able to get at least one happy ending to their career and just stick it to the Packers and keep them out of the playoffs.
You said happy ending.
Yeah, I know what I said. In this case, it was not the Cleveland Browns. It was the Green Bay Packers.
I didn't win the bet because Grandpa Jay's here.
I took the under.
We took the under. We did an early payme parlay, so you only have 2 to do. What time Jamie is? Over under 10 minutes.
What's up, Grandpa Jay?
I'm just
What's happening, fellas?
What's going on, brother? We're just talking about last weekend's game, see how everybody thinks about, because we talked about there being 9 really good games that potentially could swing the playoffs. And we were just saying, what game do you think was the most exciting? It kind of got boring towards the 4:00 games because we kind of knew who was in at that point.
I like what Mike said, though, because we knew that the Packers just had to win, and the Lions just wanted to play spoiler. And boy, did they spoil it. Aaron Rodgers might be done.
I don't think he is done, but I mean,
he seemed like he was, but that
he's gonna go on some forest, do some ayahuasca, and just
I think
the whole season.
I think he's honestly gonna rethink his strategy going into the offseason. I mean, he shot himself in the foot. You knew you didn't have your star wide receiver, and then you go ahead and put this big tough guy front that I don't go to OTAs. I don't play in preseason games. I don't think you should play the whole game, but when you have a brand new wide receiving core, those are the games that you need to start getting some chemistry with them, don't you think? And same with OTAs. So I think he's shooting himself in the foot and saying, damn, maybe I should have, instead of being Mr. Tough Guy.
That could be a future conversation we have here, maybe in an offseason of OTAs, because Denver Broncos did the same thing with Russell Wilson. And look where they are.
Well, I think that was more than just Russ's problem, but it certainly didn't help it at all.
Right.
It was a problem.
Yeah. But after a long week, we go to our favorite topic. What you sipping on? Since Pat's already revealed his. Pat, what you sipping on?
Man. I'll do some Red Stag and Coke. It's a Thursday. I have tomorrow off, not by choice, but yeah. Cinco Squad, let's ride. Mikey, what you sipping on? I'm always excited about his drinks.
As I said last week, there's been a bit of a build up with trying stuff, so I got to get rid of some stuff. But this week I decided to go with a classic. I decided to grab myself a bottle of Angry Orchard.
Boo! Nice. Boo! Who this man?
Why are we doing this, man?
It's fine. Jay, what you sipping on?
Well, I was kind of feeling under the weather this week, so I've gone back to my traditional little spiced tea here with some honey in it. But this is a great. I got this mug from one of the swim families, and it says there, the best way to predict the future is to create it. I kind of like this mug.
That's a you quote, though.
It is very.
That's a you quote.
That's a Tom Brady quote, because come playoff time, you know what time it is. So,
it's true, though. I don't understand.
That's like a
before I swing it to John Ed to see what he's sipping on. Here's what Aaron Rodgers is thinking going into the offseason. I missed the playoffs by one game, and I lost both games to the Lions, which I don't know if he's ever done in his career in one season. So,
and threw 3 interceptions to a rookie.
Yes.
Gross.
So go de toi. That was a pretty fun ending, at least for all of us. But most exciting game for me was the Jags, actually. I love watching them come back and fight to win that game. Your boy Dougie P had them believing, and they actually, came through. So let's swing it to you. What you sipping on, Big J?
I'm just doing my water, and I'm doing a sparkling ice.
Jung.
Not drinking for a while. So
Mike, the only ones with hair on our chest, man.
Yeah. And you guys are also the skinniest.
I got plenty hair on my chest, bro.
Jamie's got a reason. What's your excuse?
I'm fat. Shut up.
Oh, don't be like that. Come on.
Terrible.
Fucker. And you made me do it while I was on the big screen. What's your excuse?
I did not expect that, dude. I did not expect that.
We got a bit of an offer in the comment section. I want to get your take on it.
Anthony, about the NBA?
No, because it is Anthony. He wants to know, it may be a little late, but do we want him to make us our own Cinco Squad 2022 rewind?
If you want to, go for it. You don't got to ask our permission. Go for it.
Please don't take it.
He can send it to me. We
but
can put it
all the proceeds go to us naming the Miami Heat arena. So,
whoa. We get to do that?
Sweet. We can.
Well, if you have $4.4 billion or something like that, you can do whatever you really want. I think at that point.
Let me run to the bank real quick. I'm gonna grab my
$1.
Well, it was funny because I was talking to Mr. Cinco Trey about that the other day. How you walk in the arena, it still says FTX everywhere, and they just put out an article yesterday saying that they're going to start taking it down, which I thought was weird. Like, why wouldn't you take it down before? Like, you don't. I think they should just name it the Miami Heat Arena and just leave it at that until they find a sponsor. But make it simple, like I don't know. They keep changing.
You got to name it something creative that goes with the Heat, like the no, you can't do the sun because that's
the stove. Call
the stove.
Yeah.
John, what's Miami famous for?
The Heat.
Peacocks.
No. Peacock. What do you complain about all the time? What do you complain about all the time, every day?
The rain.
People? Yeah, they should call it Road Rage Arena. Because everybody got road rage on their way to the arena.
Because half the people turn around and go home and say, "Fuck."
And name the dancers the Rubbernecks.
We got some comments. Garrick joining us. What up, Garrick?
What happened, Garrick?
I'm fat is going in.
Of course, it's got to go in. Thanks, Anthony. Don't forget Mike's line too.
I don't know if you heard that. It's a clip, but it's a clip.
If you haven't heard it, you gotta check out the clip on the socials.
On Instagram. Clip, we're not gonna replay it for you. But so boys, did you so with Pay May Parlay this week, do you guys have your bets ready?
Oh yeah.
Oh wait, we're doing that?
Okay, we don't have to.
Of course it's
Next
ready.
topic.
Come on. Who are you talking to?
All right, we're going to swing it over. Everyone, we're going to swing over to Jay and Pat in the hat to give us our Week 41 Pay May Parlay.
So Pat and I have been on a little bit of a slump, and I think sometimes you got to switch it up. So Pat, I'm going to let you take it because I think every time I've been leading these parlays, it leads us into a despair of a Monday of results. So
I'm gonna let you take
it and see if it changes our luck this weekend.
Slump is taking it easy on us. We've been pretty bad. So, like I said last week, if you guys want to take the opposite of what we say, do that.
Yeah, because we were 1 for 5 last week, so you would have hit 4 or 5. So
yeah. So switching everything up, I'm going to the frozen pond here, going hockey tomorrow. Penguins Jets over 6.5 goals.
Over.
Both teams are just scoring at a high clip, and I could see 6.5 easily being done in Pittsburgh.
Very
Boom,
nice.
book it or don't. I don't know.
I will go to a frozen county in the United States, and that being frigid Minnesota, where the T-Wolves will be hosting the Suns tomorrow, and the very depleted Phoenix Suns are going to try and see if they can end T-Wolves' home win streak, and that will not happen. Okay. So I'm going to be taking whatever I think the line right now is 4 or 5.5. I don't care if it's 7, 8, 9.5. I think the Timberwolves beat them by double digits easily tomorrow night. Timberwolves playing great basketball at home right now. So I love the T-Wolves against a very depleted Suns lineup tomorrow night.
All right. I like it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So now we're going to go to the main event here. NFL.
There we go. I'm in the main event too next.
We're going Saturday night. I don't know if you're here.
Yes,
Jacksonville Chargers. Jacksonville plus 2.5 over the Chargers.
Love it.
I think they're the hottest team in the AFC right now. I think Mike Williams is still questionable. He might not be ready to go for the Chargers, and Duval County will get up for this. It's all Jags plus 2.5.
Bro, the speed and the physicality against Derrick Henry, I think they will let Eckler know early on in the game you're not going to be the best running back as you were against so many. You're not gonna do what you did against other teams. And they got into Herbert's head last time they played, and they put a good spanking on them last time they played them in LA. So
we're going Doug Peterson too. He's a vet in the playoffs against a rookie head coach for the playoffs.
Yep,
Staley there.
So I'm going with Mike's going to love this one, with who I think is probably the only team that may come out with a road victory in wildcard weekend. And I'm going to ride the +3 for the Giants. I'm taking the 3 points. I think Minnesota needed a 61-yard field goal to beat them last time. The Giants played the kind of physical football that the Vikings were hoping they wouldn't have to see in the first round. We don't know what the Vikings are because they haven't shown us, other than being able to win close games, who they are. So they're kind of like the cardiac Vikings this year. Yep. I think the Giants go in there thinking to themselves, we have a chance, and I'm taking the points because if Minnesota does end up winning, I actually think it's going to be a push. So take the points.
Yeah, I was going to say it's going to be a close game. That's how Giants play it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so my third one, you're going to like this.
Talk to me, baby.
Tampa plus 2.5 over the Cowboys.
I knew it.
Tom Brady has never lost to Dallas.
I knew you were going with my boys.
Look that. And I will never, ever put a bet favoring the Cowboys. I will never do that.
So the only thing is coming out of a loss where they didn't cover the spread. Dallas is 7-1 over the last 2 seasons, but Tampa in the playoffs is 4-1 in their last 5 playoff games against the spread. So so both ways, like it's looking like both teams can do some damage.
Yeah,
I'm gonna do a very brave thing like you did last week, and of course the Bills line has inflated to 13.5.
Yeah,
against the Dolphins.
Touching that.
The Dolphins couldn't move the ball last week, bro. 11 points, and the only reason they scored double digits is because there was a safety at the end of the game.
And it's still
so
Thompson.
The Dolphins struggled to score at home against the Jets, who then, of course, is a great defense. But I don't think that the Jets can match up to the intensity the Bills are going to bring to this game. I think they will get to the Miami is going to be down early in this game, which is going to force their backup QB to make a lot of mistakes as the game goes on. There's going to be turnover city. I think Buffalo wins by 20. So I'm taking the 13.5. I think the Bills.
I looked at that too. I said that looks kind of juicy there. Mm-hmm. It's a fun one too because it's double digit there, and you're like, ooh, I can get this. Mm-hmm. That's a fun one.
But I'm loving your Jags pick the most. Let's take it to John and Mike here and see what they think about this weekend's picks. Gentlemen.
What up? You just had to get Mikey on his high horse, didn't you?
Of course I did. Come on, Mike.
Me and Mike were discussing it beforehand.
I dare you to drop that one, Mikey. I dare you to drop that one.
To be honest with you, all the underdogs I like in this weekend because the Giants had the Vikings number. I can't remember what week it was, but they had them this year.
It was week 15, I think.
Yeah, they should have beat
Christmas
them.
Eve.
The Jags are playing at a very – put your thumbs down.
Never.
Mr. Giant Man. This wasn't a rant to talk about Daniel Jones.
Oh, don't worry. That comes later today.
Oh, Jesus.
Same.
Hey, I guess, are you gonna do it?
I like the Jags pick. The Jags, I think, playing at home, that game was really fun last Saturday. And I think that, the only thing missing in their offense was they couldn't really move the ball very well, or just seemed very off in that game. Like, it didn't seem like they had a lot of, it just seemed like Trevor didn't have his best game that game. And I think if he comes into the playoffs, he has the nerves, he's settled down. Because like we said last week was like a playoff game for the Jags. So
and it came at the right time for him.
Correct.
I'm just saying that defense is playing tremendously.
Oh, amazing. And that's, Doug Peterson always knows how to get those boys rolling. So I would say let's get rid of the hockey one to start off with.
Okay.
Because
who is this guy?
I mean, the Penguins just took the Bruins to 2-1, I think, in the Winter Classic. Now that ice, I know it's the outdoor rink and everything, but their goaltending's playing pretty well right now. So,
bro, that was a week ago.
I know, but I'm just saying. I'm saying the Bruins are the best team in the hockey right now, and they're the highest scoring team in hockey right now. So they took them to 2-1.
Yeah.
So it's like, do I don't
actually, who the highest scoring team in hockey is right now? It's actually the Kraken, who scored like 4+ goals in something like 7 straight games or something like that.
So I would eliminate that one and keep the rest.
Nice.
Mike?
My initial thought was T-Wolves over Suns. Now, I write these down for the graphic. I'm only at 5, so go back over them for me. I got Penguins and Jets.
Jags
the
go over
of that,
Chargers.
so that's the over.
One at a time.
Right. T-Wolves and Suns.
T-Wolves to cover.
All right. Jags over Chargers.
Plus
Giants
2.5.
over Vikings. Bills over Dolphins. What am I missing?
Well, Giants, I took the 3, so not the win. I took the 3. So
Right.
I took the Giants 3. Did you take Tampa to win, or you took the 2.5?
Yep. Tampa plus 2.5 over
So you
there.
took
Okay, that's
points
the one
on
I'm missing.
Tampa. I took the Bills 13.5 to cover.
Okay. I was initially thinking T-Wolves over Suns, but honestly thinking more about that hockey one. That's a very high scoring bet.
Even though the
scoring, man.
Even though the Jets they just took the Detroit Red Wings 7-5 last night, so they scored 12 goals in that game. So I kind of see where Pat's coming up from on that bet.
Definitely, but I guess keeping in mind, I would kick the hockey one. Yeah. Also keeping in mind that the Penguins and Jets do have 2 of the better playing goalies in the league right now.
I'm just saying.
Odds are they get the.
My thought was Pittsburgh just took Vancouver 5-4, and then 5-1 against Arizona.
Yeah.
That was the last 2 games. And Jets scoring had a good clip too.
Yeah. The thing is like those 2 teams are especially Arizona. They tend to give up a lot of goals.
Oh yeah, it's Arizona.
So I think we're due for a lower scoring game. I could be wrong, but I would kick the hockey one.
Hey,
all right, so we have our
wrong. Pay me parlay, baby.
So we got that going on our socials here after the show. Tune into Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Facebook for the Pay Me Parlay. We'll have a list of them all, and hopefully you guys win a lot of money.
What are the 6?
Or the 5?
Right, we dropped the hockey.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
The
5,
Bills
sorry.
to cover, the Bucks to cover. We took the T-Wolves to cover. We took the Jags to win straight up. And the 5th one was
Tampa.
If anything, I think we're all jacking off, so that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Duval.
See what you did there.
Jagging off.
So, I mean, with the NFL, now we have a full first season in the 2 seasons now with the 18-game season and now the 7-team playoff. Mm-hmm. With a larger sample size, how do you guys feel about the NFL season and format? So do you guys feel like you like the 18 games and do you like the extra playoff team where you have 1 bye week? Whoever wants to go first, go ahead.
I'll start off. So I'm actually it's kind of a split decision for me on this. It's the regular season format. I I think I liked the one less game from before a little more. Just because I know it's an extra week of excitement and stuff, but from a personal thing, like it's one more week for everybody's guys to get hurt, and now like we're not seeing Lamar, we're not seeing Tua, all that, and not to say those injuries didn't happen, in the last week, but it's just that extra game has the potential for that to happen. Excuse me. The playoff format, I like the extra wild card team because I think in the years past we've had a lot of teams that have been just off that have been really good teams. So now I like the idea that those teams get their shot. So, I would say it's split for me. I would put the regular season back to the way it was, but I would keep the extra wild card team. I don't know. Jay, what do you think?
I kind of like the way that this past weekend ended with so many games that mattered. I think that's what they were hoping for and adding the extra week. I understand what they need to do, and we said this before, is not play so many preseason games. Play 1 week of preseason, so at least you give them 1 week of reps, 1 week of getting the feel for hitting, and I don't do the practice with the team thing. We said that just play one great preseason game and get going. So that's where I think they need to.
You take out the flights though,
and keep the 18 because I loved what I saw this weekend. From here's where I'm going to throw my curveball out. I would rather not see a bye and put that 8th team in there because man, did I want to see the Lions in the playoffs this year and the Steelers. I think it would have been fun when you have both of those teams in there who could possibly play. Of course, the Lions would go into Philly with the biggest chip on their shoulder. And I know both you guys in the corners here would be thinking, this is not a very good first-round matchup for us at all.
It wasn't a good first game we played up.
Yeah, because they would have been the 8th.
I know. We played them the first game of the season. And we took them down to the wire on a game-winning field goal.
Yeah. So,
we gave up a 20-point lead in the half, I think.
Yeah. And vice versa, I think the Chiefs would have been thinking to themselves, we don't want none of the Steelers right now because these guys, this rookie's playing with house money. So
I'd rather see the Steelers.
I would kind of like to see if they expanded to 8 teams and forget the bye. And I think it would have been so much fun this year. So that's my take on it. Pat, what do you think?
All right. So I really enjoyed this last week of football. There's a lot of scenarios that could come out. I like that they narrowed it down to you only play divisions because you kind of get that feel of like what we just saw. The Seahawks get that last playoff spot. The Packers could win and get in, but the Lions had nothing to play for except spoiler. And it's against your division foe, their rival. We get over the hump, beat Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, let's go. And that's fun. You don't see that if you're seeing like Lions against the Steelers.
Right.
There's no gripe against the Steelers for them. I really like it. I like the bye for the first team because that gives the teams a little something extra to play for. Just like the Cowboys and the Niners were trying to get the 1 spot from the Eagles. What I want to see in future NFL seasons, and I want to hear you guys' opinion on this, the number 1 seed or the number 1 pick goes down to a game between the 2 worst teams. Whoever plays and wins gets their first pick. That'd be fun.
What do you mean?
Like the Bears and Texans would play for the first pick.
Oh, the draft you're talking about.
Yeah.
That would be like the first game on Saturday at noon. That's what you say.
Pro Bowl week. Right? Pro Bowl week.
Yeah, do a Pro Bowl
week.
Yeah.
Okay.
Get a real game in there. Something's on the line. That's a nice little kink to it.
Or if they played in the beginning in the regular season, you can kind of go that matchup too.
No, but what he's saying is like
I know what he's saying.
But the weird scenario is why would you want to win that game? That's why Lovey got fired, right? Like you're giving up the number 1 pick by winning. That's what makes it.
That is a bowl game that lost their coach. Like the interim coach has to coach now.
Yeah, but I see what James.
And you have to win that game.
You have to win the game to get the first.
You have to win the game. Yeah, you're playing for something. You got to win the game to get it.
That's
winner gets the number 1.
Yeah. What do you think? The loser? They would all just stay.
I was going to say,
they'll stay in a locker room.
You guys thought it was the loser.
We forfeit.
Yeah, the same format.
I refuse to play.
Hey, Mike.
They didn't show up to the arena.
Hey, Mikey, is this the same guy over here that said, I want homecoming, forget the bye? Is this the same guy saying, I like the bye situation, you have something to play for? Is this the same guy sitting here last week?
I like everything.
Recall.
I love
I
everything.
wish we could do,
I love
I wish we could do
everything.
recalls right now where we just go and we just
In
go
the middle of that
straight.
show, I kind of
Wait, he said he liked to buy though.
Exactly.
But he said he liked to buy this week too.
Last week
Nope.
Pat
I
said
said home.
Pat said he wanted home field.
You want home field? Both of you guys said home field.
Yeah, I mean,
All right, discretion. I was drunk last show too.
my thoughts on this is ultimately, with the larger season, I agree with you, Jay. I think that the preseason needs to kind of go away. I like the inter squad practice. Like, here's my thing: is they do an inter squad practice, and it's like you're running real plays and stuff like that. Obviously, you're not, going full speed, but like you're getting chemistry during like another team's live defense, right? So, don't do that with a preseason game right after, right? So if you're going to do something like do maybe 1 to 2 weeks, that gives the guys a chance to at least play. I mean, realistically, all these sports have, baseball has a whole freaking month of spring training, which is too long. And, hockey has a month, pretty much 7 games, so a lot of these sports have it. So I would like it toned down a little bit. I actually like the 18th week, but I like it for the reasons I think either you or Pat said is I like the fact that they played divisional opponents. I thought that was really smart by the NFL because ultimately it came down to a lot of great games that mattered, and like you said, the Lions didn't have anything to play for, but still played their ass off. They could have just played their third string and saved all their guys, but they decided to go out there and win that game for pride. So the bye week is definitely, it's critical for teams that like are hurt. I'm still sticking with my home field advantage. I think that plays a bigger factor in my opinion. You're going to, especially now that we know that the, Falcons Stadium is going to be the host of the AFC title game if it's Bills and Chiefs. Yeah. So I don't know. I like the bye week. I don't think that they should be playing. I think you should earn that. If you earned the number 1 seed, you should get something for that, right? So you played all season, you played 18 weeks, and all of a sudden it's like, okay, now I gotta go play another game when I did everything, to be the number 1. So why would I have to? But I do agree with Pat on the whole Pittsburgh Dolphins thing. Pittsburgh would have made it a lot better of a game against the Bills. I still think the Bills are gonna, walk through that game like it's like Georgia versus TCU. But it, and I heard something on the news.
Wings on the sideline. I see what
I heard something that like DeMar got released from the hospital and that he might be running them out of the tunnel. And I'm like, oh, the Dolphins we're already screwed.
Oh yeah.
Doing that is even like worse.
Yeah.
Like you haven't. Okay, well,
the line just changed.
I think that was a little hype because obviously they still have to be pretty careful with his heart rate just spiking. And
of course.
I think he's going to be in attendance in one of the
booth.
suites.
In the booth, yeah.
And I think a lot of the talk was like they were saying, let's try to tone down a bit of cameras always going to him and like, like going back to that situation a lot. Like they're saying, like, hey, give him his 15 seconds and then focus on the game because I think the family would still just want it to not be about him right now. This is about the team, Right. And he's that kind of guy as well.
So we have a consensus that we all like the new format and everything.
Mm-hmm. The new playoff. I was the only one that said I could do without the extra week.
I could do. I kind of. If they said we're going to go back to 17, I wouldn't care.
Right.
Right. I do agree with you that I think there is still
more football.
Well, so honestly, what would you guys think of what Jay brought up, which is the adding another team and making it the 8 seed? Because the reward for the 1 seed at that point is your guaranteed home field through the whole playoffs.
It depends, right? It depends if you're playing your best. It's all situational. Like the Eagles needed this extra bye week because we needed to get some guys, rested and revamped. Like Josh Sweat is back at practice today. If he wouldn't be able to go this week. Jalen still, is uncomfortable with his shoulder. But I mean, at this point, everyone on the team is sore. I hate when they say breaking news. Everyone's sore. Like they just played an 18-game season. Of course, they're all sore. Yeah. Like I don't think that's honestly fair because you did all what you could do to be the 1 seed, and every other sport pretty much you get a bye. So why not in NFL?
What if you would do 8 teams and then you can do 2 buys at that point, right?
Yeah.
You do 1 and 2 again, so it'd
Yeah.
just be like the 6th team again.
I would be down for that. Just because
I
there's
like
been
that
so many
more.
good teams.
I like that more.
Yeah.
Because then it gets back to like Buffalo could actually have that spot where the game got taken away from them. They
Right.
could have that spot again.
Then you don't have to necessarily worry about neutral site.
Kind
Well,
of.
the only reason why
because they didn't have that game.
The only reason why they have neutral
Very unique
site,
situation.
yeah, it's a very rare situation. So there's because they don't have an extra game, but that neutral site's only if it's Chiefs Bills.
Only if it's Chiefs Bills, right?
There's like if the Chiefs are playing, like let's just say the Ravens, the Chiefs are home.
Why'd you go with the most unlikely situation?
Because it's so unlikely. Watch me see Lamar Jackson playing in the AFC.
Let's say the Chiefs play the Ravens, AFC Championship.
No, Lamar Jackson's
about dream.
Lamar Jackson's about to surprise everybody for this Bengals game. He's going to do Greg Jennings from Madden, come out just limping.
I was gonna say it's like that Cleveland game. He comes out of the bathroom, just had to take a shit.
Well, I'll tell you what. You know why Cincinnati wants him to play? The only quarterback with a lower QBR than him in the playoffs is the king of the gingers, Mr. Andy Dalton. So Cincinnati wants him to play. He is half the Lamar in the playoffs, and he's yet to prove that. And coming off of not practicing for almost
16 days, yeah, right now.
If you it will be for the game. That's no bueno.
Jamie, you lost me. John, is Andy Dalton your king?
Apparently.
Apparently.
Hold on. The usurper
Max Duggan.
For John, it was Max Duggan before Monday night. John was all over that Max Duggan train, and then he jumped off real quick at halftime.
Nah, he's got to cut his hair. He's got weird hair.
Yeah.
He's got weird hair.
Are you a self-hating ginger?
Way to go, George Steinbrenner. You got to cut your hair, son.
Yeah,
come on. Cut the hair, trim the beard, win a championship.
So since we're talking about Georgia and the Buffalo chicken wings.
Ooh,
yeah.
And now I'm hungry.
So is Georgia, after that walloping on Monday night, is Georgia a dynasty now?
A wallop. I said wallop. Let me take this.
Yes.
The answer is no. I'm going to leave you guys. Okay.
All right, Pat. No.
Maybe.
Go.
Always one of those a week.
Go for it, Jay.
So I think we are prisoners of the moment here, and hear me out on this. So if we look and just take the last 9 years for the CFP itself, right? There's 3 other teams that have made the CFP more than Georgia has. Alabama has made it 7 of the 9 years. Clemson has made it 6 of the 9 years. Clemson's won twice. Bama's won 3 times. Ohio State has made it 5 times. They've won once. If we date back and go back to where the college kind of took that turn from crowning an AP champ, and then it kind of just became more or less about the voting, and like we can really declare an overall number 1 team here. Bama's won 7 times, and you look at a lot of other teams that have had 2 championships. My idea of a dynasty, at least in this case, is we've become a prisoner of the moment. Georgia has been the best team in football in the last 16 months by far. They've been the best college football team. Maybe not by far, because Bama beat them in the SEC championship game. But when it counted, they won. And that's it. To me, if they had dominated Bama in that SEC championship game, which means they just laid the hammer down on who the other previous dynasty we could say truly is, which is Alabama, then yes. But Georgia is going to need to go to the CFP semifinals and finals, possibly 3 or 4 more years for me to say, you know what, or 3 out of the next 4 years, play for another championship or 2. Then I'll say, yes, this is a dynasty because they've held on to this success for over 5 years. Clemson did it. Bama did it. Ohio State almost did it. So my answer is no.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you on that. Ultimately, I think, you have to be consistent. And I think Georgia's been consistent. A team, and we've been waiting for that. We've been waiting for that team to come in, right? It's been Bama and Clemson. It's almost like those years of Cavaliers, Warriors. Like we were waiting for another team to come in, and now the NBA, like college football, has a lot of parity. In Georgia, I give him credit. I give Kirby Smart credit. He built a system. He's made these players believe in him. But I see, maybe a huge fall off next year. Maybe a couple losses next year that doesn't get them in. But I mean, it's going to be tough because like the college football playoffs is going to change. It's going to go to 12. So how do you vary it then? Like just getting in or getting to the semis or getting to the finals? Right now, like Tulane would have made it in this year if it was 12. Those type of things. You
Best
look back.
colors.
Okay.
Tulane. Just let me do my little inserts.
Best colors.
Best colors.
All right, bye.
No one's talking about the Green Wave, man. No one's talking about the Green Wave.
But I don't.
Tell us why the Green Wave is the next dynasty in college football.
I just don't see. I just don't see it right. I just don't see Georgia being a dynasty just yet. It doesn't take away from their great win. But I think if Bama's in the college football playoff this year, I don't think it's a 65-7 route. Right? I think it's a closer game. But I pretty much know. I think it's going to be a closer game than this. I think TCU was outmatched. But they also made a lot of very bad mistakes, little small mistakes that, obviously added to like the big score, right? So like they made a lot of mistakes that they didn't make during Michigan, like missed assignments, different, not, jumping off sides, false starting a lot, so it's like those things they didn't happen during the Michigan game, so this was a completely different team that I saw. So
TCU had 1 5-star recruit to Georgia's 15.
That means stuff, but it doesn't really mean anything. Go for it, Pat.
Oh, hello everybody.
What do you
I'm
think?
on the big screen. Okay, first of all, name another team that eats chicken wings in the second half of a national championship. I think that's a dynasty. All right, get that part out of the way. Who was the last school?
Only if it's extreme hot sauce on the wings.
Oh, yeah, they need extreme, yes. Name the other school that went back-to-back championship.
Alabama.
Who was also a coach on that Alabama back-to-back?
Kirby Smart.
Kirby Smart was on that coaching staff.
And now he's the head coach of the next team, the next school that went back-to-back.
So is your question, is Kirby Smart a dynasty?
Kirby Smart will make the dynasty.
He's a dynasty.
I get what you mean. But also, I think you're missing out. I think Brian Dable was the offensive coordinator on that team.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you're goddamn right, he was.
So I don't know if it was Kirby's. But
dynasty builder.
Kirby was defense.
Guys, we gotta stop giving Mike the credit with the Giants.
You said it.
I said it. I gotta stop it.
It's been 6
setting him up this whole
years.
year to be the happiest camper on this
something.
podcast.
I've never seen Mike smile so much, and I just had a wedding last year.
Oh, you know that's a damn lie.
Just joking. Mike, what do you think?
I wasn't done.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding. Get me out of there.
Let me out. Go on, Pat.
No, I was just get me out of there.
Go on.
Now you want to listen to me?
I always listen to you, Pat.
Pat's quite clear on how smart he was. Your turn.
Thank you.
They're a dynasty. And I'm going to say they're a dynasty because I was thinking about it as we brought up the topic earlier in the week. And I thought, man, for me, college football dynasties are different than other dynasties because there's so many more teams than your traditional league. Like a lot of the pro leagues, it's hard to name a team a dynasty until they've got that sustained success. Like imagine, winning 5 world championships in 20 years. Like that's a dynasty. 4 in 5 years, New York Yankees. That's a dynasty. In college football, because there is so much parity and because there's programs that that can rise up so quickly. And yes, we have in the college football playoff, we have gotten your more traditional champions, but those have been dynasties, especially Alabama. So I think in college football, because things can change so drastically depending on coaches hired, like recruits got and stuff like that, I think back-to-back and in the second one being in such dominating fashion, I think it makes them a dynasty. Now, will it remain a dynasty? Possibly not. Like Georgia could miss the playoff next year or at least be a very lower seed than they were.
They could miss the playoffs?
I mean, anything can happen.
Hey, Mike,
Oh,
let me tell you what's going to
but-
remain a dynasty, and I'll spell it out for you. SEC.
Well, of course.
Take me off the big screen.
Yeah, the prediction.
No one likes the big screen.
I'm fine with that.
Not a fan. Not a fan.
In our pre-meeting before the show, you guys said we should do the big
I
screen.
said I didn't like
Don't
it.
share our secrets to the world.
Secret.
No,
we are doing it.
Yeah,
Goes
we're a little
messing with
peek
you, bro.
behind the curtain. I didn't want the big screen.
Yes, you did.
Yes,
My
you
face
did.
gets very red.
You're the one
All
that
right,
brought it
so-
up.
So let's just conclude
No,
here.
it wasn't.
John,
All
you
right,
say
all right.
no. I
I
say
say
no.
no.
Pat, you say yes?
To the big screen?
No, it's a dynasty.
No,
Oh.
just Georgia.
Okay, the topics, man, we're flowing today.
You say yes to dynasty?
Pat.
Do I think they're a dynasty?
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely, dude.
Oh, okay.
Dude,
Okay.
the domination of that game, it was a freaking ass whooping. That just should continue on and be like, okay, yeah, they could have ran that score up even more.
Mhm.
That's a tough team to beat, man. And they only lost one game. They have more championships than losses in the last 2 years.
Very true.
Crazy.
Yeah, I mean,
That is a cool stat.
I see what you're saying, but then you look at the Alabama teams here, right? They've dominated teams in the college football
And that's
playoff.
another thing. They took off the king, Nick Saban. They knocked the
did.
king down.
Yeah, they did.
Another
They
dynasty.
they conquered that feat, and
Yeah.
they couldn't do it in the SEC championship this year, but I'm sure that's probably where they wanted to do it the most. So.
Mhm.
For sure.
It's a good topic because when we first came up with it this week, I was like, I don't even see it though. I was with you,
I
Jay.
went
I
both
don't-
ways. I flipped on it.
I
flipped
could
on
see it
yesterday.
because I went all the way back to 2017 when they played Bama in the national title game, and they had such a good college football playoff, and
Mhm.
all the games we keep talking about has Georgia in them, right? So it's
Right.
like the good ones in the college football playoff have Georgia in
Yeah.
them. So it's like you think about it, it's like, okay, yeah, but I just give me a few more years. If Kirby Smart continues this, which I probably will, I could say yes in a couple years.
I'm
but
not even mad, man. Usually I'm like, all right, enough of these teams being dominant. Let's get another one in. I'm not even mad. I think Georgia's a fun team to watch, offense and defense. And Kirby Smart's a fun guy to root for. And the fact
That's
that,
been me with
That
Bama.
defense is
the fact
fun.
that the quarterback is from Georgia too and just has a Cinderella type
It does.
movie. And you know what? He can't even be in the college football Hall of Fame because he's never been an All-American. Isn't that some shit?
That's crazy.
Wait a minute. That's a criteria to get in the college football Hall of
Yes.
Fame. Is you had to have been an
That's
You have to
All-American.
be an All-American.
Well,
That's
Okay,
some
that's
shit.
a
You know
top,
for
that's a
sure
topic for
Georgia's
another
gonna
time.
Two-time college playoff MVP, college championship, and he's not in the Hall.
wait, what was that? What was that stat again? I'm sorry.
Goddamn, I'm blanking.
Stetson Bennett cannot
Yes,
go
Stetson Bennett.
into the
That's a-
college football
yeah.
Hall of Fame because
He's
he was
uneligible.
He's not an All-American.
because he never made All-American.
He didn't make All-American. He didn't make All-American this year. Being a
How would he?
Heisman fight. He's a Heisman
No, because-
finalist.
no,
Yeah, but he was
no,
fifth
because-
in voting, wasn't
Yeah.
No,
They probably,
I mean,
they
in Heisman.
he? Yeah.
No, he was on the stage.
Yeah,
was
but he was
third.
fifth.
Oh, he
There
was
was five of
third.
them, and he was fifth
He was
in the
third.
voting.
yeah, but think about it. I think they only named 2 quarterbacks to All-American, and he lost to 2 quarterbacks.
Mhm.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying he was third in the voting. But
Right.
I'm saying
Right.
I
I think
didn't-
it's stupid he can't be in the College Football Hall of Fame because he wasn't an All-American.
Yeah, that's part of the criteria.
That is
there.
dumb.
I mean, I don't think he cares because he's just holding rings and he's working
Doesn't
at
matter.
Well, I don't think-
working at a
it's
drive-through.
just a stupid piece
He works
of
at a
information
chicken
that
drive-through.
Georgia's going to build a statue in his honor, the
Oh,
same
the
size
way
as him.
it's
It's going to be 4'9" right there in the stadium. When you walk in, little kids can high five him on the way to every Georgia game.
Oh,
for
yeah.
the rest of their
Oh,
life.
Who's that, Dad?
He's a
That's Stetson Bennett.
25-year-old college athlete. Look at him go.
He was older than half the NFL when he won a national championship.
But
Next topic.
That has spoken.
But I will say this though, Tennessee is about to bring in one of the more exciting quarterbacks, and they're
Mhm.
touting this kid to be the truth. And they're saying if you think Archie Manning is the best recruit, then we'll see. If Tennessee ends up dethroning Georgia, and Tennessee ends up in this position next year where they're supposed to be the hot team, then I guarantee you, like Pat said, Kirby's going to do whatever he can to bring in and they're going to change their whole recruiting game to bring in a transfer that is a truth of that, like the truth of that position. And defensive players are just going to keep pouring into there. So we'll see if they don't sustain it next year, they'll be back the year after.
They got Peyton Manning.
They got Peyton Manning. They didn't get.
He's not talking about Archie.
Yeah,
He's talking
Archie's
about
going
Peyton.
to Texas.
Right.
Archie's going to Texas. I'm going to make a very bold prediction. Along with Michigan making the playoff, Colorado is going to make the playoff next year.
With Deion?
Because Deion is smart. He brought some of his team, along with his sons, of course, to the national title game, and they showed him before the game. And he's like, "Oh yeah, we got to get here." And you know when Deion.
So, bro, you're saying they beat out USC?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
That's bold.
I say they did.
USC's getting a
So
lot
what?
better next year.
They're winning the Pac-12 and going to be like fourth next year?
That's not very shocking.
I don't see it.
There's not a lot of teams in the Pac-12 that are competitive.
Utah,
really
no, but I don't think they're. I don't think
Utah, I'll give them credit. That team has been rolling, but like they always suffer some early season couple losses.
Every Pac-12 team.
Yeah,
every Pac-12 team.
As long as
I don't. You know what? I don't know because like I see them finishing.
Mark this day.
No
January
higher than fourth. You know what?
Someday.
No. This can be a clip.
12th.
Yeah.
Colorado, along with Michigan, makes the playoffs. Playoffs? Well,
what's in that seltzer water, dude?
Making bold predictions because he's got ice in his veins.
Hey, John, a bolder prediction would be: does Bama miss out for 2 straight years in a row?
No.
Nah.
No, not when David Pollock disrespected him on camera.
I loved it. You said you didn't have a problem with it.
I didn't have a problem with it.
I think it's hilarious.
I never even because I was watching it live.
Space, they're like, you guys suck.
Well, I didn't even think twice about it because I watched it live and I was like, okay, so I was watching the game.
I don't think he knew you get lost in your surroundings when you're trying to make takes like that. And he right to his face, dude. It was
well, because you could see him like kind of pull back his words a little bit, and he was like, "Well, you know, like," and he grabbed Nick Saban like, "I'm sorry, watch David Pollock not be on any college football show next year."
Dude, it's like making a really tough joke, and a girl walks in, you're like, "Ooh, mixed company."
ESPN's like, "Oh, you just disrespected the great one." Gone.
Oh, okay. Speaking of which, just a topic of bold predictions. I've seen one. I don't think it's true, but I've seen a few people making it. LSU's winning the national championship next year.
Oh,
it's about time Brian Kelly
Say that again?
coaches his winning team.
That's funny. Except for it's weird. Notre Dame's actually made a national championship game.
Oh,
so Michigan.
In 1999?
Yeah.
97 won the national title.
2014.
Ain't no championship game for that.
Oh, there wasn't then there was a tie with that wasn't a tie. They got the
tie with all championships are null and void when the playoff system came in.
Yeah. Like done. Well, because I never knew that. I never understood the old ways. Like, oh, we'll just tie. What?
Because the AP had to say, and then the
coaches,
the BCS, the bowl championship.
Yeah. I remember.
And before that, it was the AP and the coaches.
Yeah, and the last split, which was so weird, was the USC LSU split. That year was weird.
Very weird.
Yeah.
Syracuse has a split for a championship. Just throwing that out there.
Syracuse has a
1958
number one championship.
59.
Sorry, I was off by a year.
You better
I think that was in the 80s. I think they tied with Alabama.
Yeah, the 59 was the Soul win.
Yes, that was
led by one Ernest Davis, who is from
Muskogee, Kansas.
No,
he's actually from Pennsylvania.
Uniontown, Pennsylvania, but also went to high school in Elmira, New York, where I'm from.
Nice.
And he went to his high school.
Yeah, he went to my high school.
Like same time? Are you time traveling?
Yes.
That's awesome, bro. I knew you could time travel.
That's why I'm losing my hair.
That's why every week
he's now grandpa. He's now
46. I knew time traveling.
That's the only one that caught that
he's
one.
Still watching games in the 40s, but he's coming to us saying, "By the way, guys, long time ago when he's in real time."
That's how I went.
Time travel works one way. We can't get any bets off this kid.
No,
just
it's
sits
not
there
Back
and
to the
laughs at
Future.
us
I
and
don't
not
have
pay
the
me
sports
parlays
almanac.
like these idiots if they only
He's
knew.
just got bar trivia going on.
That's how I win.
Well, moving on to the next topic.
Yeah, now that
I said next
Wow,
topic.
this
like
is so
2
much
minutes
fun. Why are we
ago.
moving on? Let's talk about time
Bro,
travel.
Yeah.
Seriously, do you guys believe in time travel?
Okay.
not yet.
Time is irrelevant.
It is.
It's
Time
too
is
quick.
This is
All-
yeah,
the,
that's-
only, the, only
this is
thing,
fun.
the only thing I know about time is it's too quick.
True.
Facts.
That's all I
Breaks,
know.
weekends, holidays, way too quick.
My
Mic drop.
vacation.
End of segment.
So, talking about the
So,
Yeah,
time
try
travel.
to
There's no-
segue out of that, man.
There is no good
talking
segue.
about time travel with coaches. If you were an NFL head coach, which vacancy would you most want?
That's a good
Would
question.
you want most?
If I could go back in time,
If I could turn back
do it
time,
all again.
I'd segue better.
I probably would make all the same mistakes because I'm an idiot.
all right, let's see. No, Pat's the only one that hasn't started off a segment, so Pat.
Oh, okay.
San Diego.
It's not an
It has to be an open.
current
vacancy.
ones. So we're talking Colts,
Yeah,
Denver,
as it
Arizona.
stands, as it
Yeah.
stands.
So those are the only three, right?
Houston, Arizona, Colts, and Denver.
Oh, Houston
right now.
too. Okay. Why do I gotta start? Yeah. All right. Probably Denver. They got the offensive weapons. I think Russell Wilson will correct himself. You guys are forcing me to say this take. Yeah, probably him. It's probably the most set up team so far.
Well, I think if you put a good system around Russell, you can get the job done. I think
like
he's got a couple
Brunson,
years left.
I like Judy. I like Dolchik. I think
Sutton.
Devontae Williams coming back next year. They're gonna be fine. They're gonna be fine.
Pat, pain to say that the Broncos are going to be good.
I don't want because I make fun of them by the weekly, by the day, by the hour. Time travel, baby.
But next
Yeah.
year, let's ride.
Next year, let's ride. I guess. Fuck. Mike, what do you think?
I wouldn't want the Broncos job personally, just because while they may be set up, that seems just like a not great culture to be in right now.
It can't get any worse.
You'd think so. I would probably say I'd want the
It
Colts
can.
job.
Houston.
Yeah,
The 3 teams that are ahead of them in the draft.
yeah. I would probably say the Colts at this point, honestly, because they're pretty much a quarterback away from being a very much a contender. And I think I love their defense. I like the way they're set up with Jonathan Taylor. That O-line's still pretty good. So, like, if I can get the right quarterback on the team and get him to develop, like, well with guys like Pittman and Campbell and the young receivers they have, I think we can make some noise quickly.
All right,
So
my
that would
rebuttal
probably
to
be-
that is Matt Ryan was supposed to be the quarterback behind a great offensive line, and he was sacked a shit ton.
Yeah, but I think I could reach into the bargain bin of college quarterbacks and find a quarterback that's going to move a little better than Matt Ryan.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Matt Ryan held onto the
Fair
ball.
point.
A lot.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't have a
Will
good
Levis from
healthy Jonathan
Kentucky.
Taylor.
Yeah.
That is who they're supposed to get. Actually, no,
Oh,
the Colts.
yeah.
Stroud?
The prediction is supposed to draft. They're supposed to draft Stroud at 5.
That'd be
Did
dirty.
he get up to 5?
Huh?
Yeah,
Yeah, the Colts
They
got
got
down to
the
5.
yeah, I
Yeah.
see it. I also
Yeah,
said Derek Carr, but now he's rumored not to be. The Colts are not interested in him.
Yeah.
No, he'll probably end up either in like Miami or the Jets.
I was
Yeah.
thinking Saints. Maybe
Maybe.
different.
Maybe.
Interesting.
Jay, what do you think?
Just for the sake of going different, because I mean, I think you're right with the Colts being ready to win. I'm gonna go with Arizona, and here's why. I think what they're gonna do is they're gonna dangle out DeAndre and get everything they can from him. Start to build for the future from now, and I do think that they do have some exciting young pieces that they were trying to develop this year, but there was just so much inconsistency. You could tell that Coach Cliff was just not there. Like his energy just wasn't present. And I think a lot of that had to do with how disgruntled he was in the locker room. And we heard about it late in the season. with Boy Wonder, Mr. Kyler Murray. So I feel like Kyler has a lot to prove. If he cares to not prove that, they're going to try and wash that contract as much as they can, and just have someone else take them off his hands. And they're setting themselves up probably in a division that seems like it's going to be completely controlled by the 49ers for the next couple of years. So they can compete. I don't know if Geno can replicate the same year he's having. I mean, look on the other side with Indy, the Jags look like they're for real. Whether or not they improve or not, I think the Jags only get better. And Tennessee somehow hangs around because Vrabel's that kind of coach. And then, if you look in Denver's division, how the heck does Denver get good enough to compete with the Chiefs and the Chargers?
That was my only reserve with Denver is the division. But I like what you're saying about the Cardinals.
Mm-hmm.
My thing is, like, do you want to coach Kyler Murray, who's shown his immaturity or his lack of interest?
I do. Yeah. And what I do is like at some point you either become a man or this will be the last.
Or a little boy. A little boy.
You won't play this game anymore. And if he says, so what, I get paid, then there's my answer. I'm going to sit your ass down behind somebody I'll develop if they're playing better than you, and you'll be a pawn on the sidelines making a buku out. What the owner says, regardless what the owner says or not, if I'm 5-1 with him on the sidelines because he has a minor injury, I dare you to tell me to play him.
Man, he's already going to get the label of coach killer, though. It's a tough brand in NFL. Tough brand.
Yep. John, who you got?
We kept going back and forth between the Colts and the Broncos. I think both teams are set up to win now. I think the Broncos can compete if they get the right coach in there. I think Hackett was, like I said in previous shows, was a kind of in a wrong, I think he got a raw deal, but I also don't think he was the right guy for that team. I think he was trying to prove himself as a coach instead of saying, look who I have, look what I have. And as a GM, he was trying, and as the GM as well, was trying to make some moves. So as a coach, I would go and be like, well, this is what we need, and this is what we got to get to compete with these guys. The Chargers are coming back strong next year. The Chiefs are coming back strong. We got to compete with the best, and they have a solid defense. They had a top 5 scoring defense before they traded people away.
Their team's still dirty, man. Put them on.
My pick would have to be probably the Colts to start off with. I do think they're a quarterback away. I think Matt Ryan should have retired, but I don't blame him for wanting to continue because the Colts gave him an extension. And if anyone's going to throw money at you at that dollar figure, I think it was like $10 million a year.
Didn't he get traded?
He got traded, but then signed a deal, signed an extension right then and there. It was like $10 million extra a year. It's like, of course I'm going to take the money, right? So I think they need a better offensive line and just a new strategy. They wore out Jonathan Taylor too much. So I think the Colts are in a good situation, especially in the AFC South, with competing against, I think the Titans are on a downhill. They don't even know who's playing quarterback. And, you can go get a quarterback in the draft and whatnot. So, and to speak about quarterbacks, I did hear this week that I think it was Tannenbaugh on Get Up. He was talking about a scenario for the Bears that could be interesting. Trade Fields, draft Stroud or Young, and with that trade, you get picks.
Wow.
It's a good move, but you're starting all over again. Here's what I was thinking.
But you're already at the bottom. You already
know what you got with Justin Fields, which is very hard to find in NFL.
Agreed.
You don't know with rookies. You can miss.
You don't.
You can miss on number 1 picks, Ryan Leaf. You can.
But they're not set up to win right now, and not win anytime soon.
That's why you trade that pick.
I get you.
Yeah, man. I would never.
But their roster. But here's the thing: their roster is more talented than Houston. Here's what my thought was: if I'm Houston, I'm giving that number 2 pickup to either get playmakers on the defensive side of the ball to keep getting that, because that's how you're going to win games. You're going to have to just score low scoring games and win gritty games. And then for sure, they're not going to win a lot of games next year. And take Caleb Williams as the number 1 because they're probably going to get the first draft this year because he'll be more NFL ready than any of these guys. I think.
And Davis Mills already
body
proved
is an NFL type body. He's the closest thing to Jalen Hurts in terms of his body and his vision and how he sees the game. Arm strength, he can move. So I think the Texans actually have the most to win by saying, hey, let's not rush into this quarterback carousel this year and wait for our guy next year, and then just build on the other side of the ball, and then get him weapons in that draft as well, because there'll be a lot of
that because Davis Mills has proven that he's serviceable too.
Right, so he could be a good backup.
Yeah, and you can do that in a rebuild too. He's going to be cheap. You got him really late. I think he was like a 6th-round pick. You get a head coach, build a system, get his guys. Davis Mills is your quarterback. You can compete still, kind of build up your team. I like that idea a lot, man.
Plus, I mean, the Houston Texans have a lot of picks from the Browns.
They got a lot of picks.
So, I mean, they got a lot to play with. The only thing is, like, the organization is just from, the GM up is kind of,
touchy-feely. They're kind of like touch and go, if you know what I mean.
Moving on.
Mike's having a panic attack. Stop it!
Stop it! You got to keep the show at least PG-13.
Well, Mike, at least
I didn't say anything wrong.
One thing we know for sure is they're not lovey-dovey. So.
Oh, I see what you did there. I see what you did there.
Well, as we get towards the end of the show, just a prediction on this weekend for your teams and what you think. I had this idea because all of our teams are in the playoffs, which is awesome.
I don't think the Eagles are going to win this week. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Yeah.
But what do you guys, Mike and Jamie primarily, what do you think your team has to do? And Pat, I'll go to you for the Eagles for the playoffs in just general playoff fashion. Mike, what do you think the Giants have to do in order to beat the Vikings on the road? And then Jamie will go to the same for you, and then Pat to you, and then John will go to you too. Okay. Since no one wants to throw it to me.
I like that you answered yourself too.
Yes. Oh, that's good.
Okay, John. Okay. All right, I got you. All right, bro. Thanks.
I have a lot of time by myself.
Yeah. Right.
Practice.
He's prepping himself too.
For the Giants this week against the Vikings, and I think in the playoffs in general, it's going to be to get into the backfield and collapse the pocket, at least pressure the QB, whoever they're playing, especially a guy like Kirk Cousins. It's to force the issue and play the physical brand of defense that they've been playing this year. They have a very strong pass rush from both the edges with Azeez Ojulari and Kayvon Thibodeau.
Love that dude.
And all-pro defensive tackle Dexter Lawrence coming up the middle, along with Leonard Williams. So getting into the backfield has been their strong suit, and I think they need to keep that up because I think it's allowed them to force some rushed passes, which they have a young secondary that's kind of been piecemealed together with rookies and vets on vet minimums. But they've been able to force the opposing offense to make those little mistakes that can win them the game. And for a score prediction for my New York Giants, the Giants will defeat the Minnesota Vikings 20-17.
Nice.
They're not going to lose by a field goal?
No, they will win by a field goal.
They will win by a field goal.
Very
Okay,
nice.
that's not very Giants fashion.
It kind of is.
What about kick return for a touchdown?
Jamie, what you think about your Buccaneers right now?
Yeah, what do you
Playing
think?
at home, already defeated the Cowboys. What do you think? There's
Tom
a lot
Brady's
of
never
hype.
lost to the Cowboys.
Prime time. Prime time.
Do we get playoff Tom, or do we get
Of course,
first half of the Rams?
Or do we get divorce time?
And put Tom Brady on prime time under the lights against the Dallas Cowgirls. Are you kidding me?
Why is it on a Monday? I
I
got to work the next day.
Monday night, Tom is going to do a lot more with this offense. So a couple of things this week. If Todd Bowles finally came out and spoke to the media about restricting the playbook. He hasn't spoke about it all season, which means that him and Leftwich finally see what will work for this offense. And that's given Brady a couple more tenths of a second to throw the ball. That's where the two-headed running back system works for us really well for change of pace purposes. So playoff Lenny will step up. We shut Dallas's run game down. That's what Tampa can do. This really comes down to whether Carlton Davis, Sean Murphy-Bunting, and Jamel Dean can do a great job because CeeDee Lamb has gone off in the past couple of weeks. But what I'm happy about is as much as I feared Micah Parsons in this matchup a month ago, Dallas has given up 25 plus in 3 of their last 4 games. The Bucs have struggled to score the ball. That bodes well for the Bucs going into a situation where they're going to have to play cover 1 because they're depleted and down to their number 3 and 4. from a secondary standpoint, and Evans and Godwin will eat them up all day long once you give Brady that extra 1 or 2/10 of a second to throw the ball. So I actually see the Dallas Cowgirls bowing out once again, not making it out of wild card weekend. And this time, not because of any coaching decisions that Mike McCarthy can't do for himself, meaning manage the clock, or we know it's going to happen. Dak Prescott throwing a couple picks. It'll happen because the Bucs finally play a great game. They will play a full, complete, great game of football. Last year, they got shot in the first half by the Rams, and then they almost win the game. I think the team's going to come together and realize if we don't play 4 quarters, we're out. And I'm going to happily come back home on Monday night and watch my team play 4 quarters of football and send Dak home into the abyss of, will I ever win a playoff game? Oh, poor guy.
You know,
And then Jamie,
Great talk, Great talk.
Jamie, one thing about that is that they've given up 24 plus points in the last 3 games
0.6, exactly.
against teams with their backup quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
Third string in some cases.
Yeah, third string in some cases with the Commanders, right?
yes.
Wow, they played their starters.
So that was something that I kept saying is like that's why I'm not hot on. As much as I respect Gardner Minshew, he wasn't Jalen Hurts in one moving that offense. So and he gave up 36 points to him. So it's like
score prediction 26-19.
Okay.
Pat, what you think about our boys with the week off? What do you think we got to work on the week off and going into the next week?
All right, so this kind of
we'll kind of have probably similar, but
what I'm saying is when I said they are losing the bye week, I think they're actually going to win the bye week and get healthy. They got to get healthy, be that dominant team that they were all year before all these injuries started accumulating.
Uh-huh.
They're getting Gardner Webb Johnson. I'm just happy everyone's going to get healthy. And Lane Johnson's coming back. He's skipping surgery. He has given up 0 quarterback hits, 0 sacks, 0 pressures from that side of the line. And that's where all the turnovers came with Gardner Minshew, too.
Uh-huh. So, Jack Driscoll, yep.
Yep, people getting healthy, that's where the Eagles are going to win, and they're going to start getting those turnovers, the plus turnovers, back, and that's what made that defense so dominant. And defense wins championships, man. Very happy to get healthy.
John, can I ask you something? Would you rather see the Giants, because if they win, they automatically play the Eagles, or would you rather see Minnesota win and then you play Minnesota?
We wouldn't play Minnesota. We played the Buccaneers.
I mean, see Tampa win and you play the Bucs.
I don't mind either. I think we could take both teams. I think I don't think the Giants. I think honestly, last game, because I was talking to my dad and he was like, "Oh, the Giants played you guys well." I was like, "I don't think we were playing the whole playbook in this game. I think it was just a game. I think we were just giving the Giants, what we were getting a lead, holding the lead, winning the game. That was it. That was the game plan because
Jalen Hurts hurt.
Exactly. So the biggest thing I would rather see, honestly, probably the Giants. They didn't experience the secondary. We've already tore it up. So, the Buccaneers, they scare me because of Tom Brady. I'll never underestimate him. Just like in college basketball, I'll never underestimate Tom Izzo and his teams. So it's like
that's a comparison. All right.
Well, Tom Izzo is always a team that competes in the tournament. Always, even if the team is not 100% well throughout the year, it's still a team that
but Tom Izzo loves his family, so.
I think Tom Brady loves his family too, but okay. Anyways, the Birds this week need to work on just winning the day. Jalen didn't leave the facility from Nick Sirianni and his presser on Monday. Didn't leave the facility until 1 a.m. on Sunday because he was watching the tape and watching what he did wrong, his mistakes throughout the whole season. He's as locked in as I've ever seen a quarterback be locked in. I think just win the day. Win each day. Get better. Get healthier. Don't force guys, that don't need to. And then ultimately, I love the attitude around the organization. They're like, "What do you think about Super Bowl or bust?" And they're like, "We're just talking about winning one game at a time, one game at a time." And that's the mentality you have to going in the playoffs. So I think the key is just keeping that mentality and keeping it stern, like they have all year. I don't think this little hiccup of 2-game losing streak did anything to the team. I think it ultimately did is make them more mad when people started disrespecting them. So yeah, I think
they also knew the goal was still there. They just
correct.
Had to get 1 out of 3, get that 1 seed. They got that. Now it's take care of business in the playoffs, 1 game at a time.
Correct.
Can I ask you guys all a quick question here? Out of the teams playing this weekend, if you had to choose one to play in the Super Bowl, who would you guys choose?
Giants.
No, who would you play?
No, who would you choose out of all the teams playing this weekend?
To make
Which one is most likely to make the Super Bowl of the teams playing this weekend?
Giants.
Most likely.
Giants.
In your opinion?
Giants.
In my opinion.
I mean, I gotta say the Birds. They've been the dominant
They're
team.
not playing this weekend.
They're not playing.
All the teams
Oh,
playing
this weekend? I think just in general. What I mean, are you talking about matchup?
Eagles are out of all the teams other than the Chiefs.
Oh, just say a team that's playing this week.
Outside of the 1 seeds. Outside of the 1 seeds, who has the best chance to make it? Giants.
Bills.
Yeah, no, it's the Bills. It's the Bills.
I'm gonna say the Bills, but the Niners also scare me, and that's coming from an Eagles fan, which is very stupid to say. I'm an Eagles fan saying Niners, but the Niners just look juggernaut. Whoever,
but I love
doesn't even matter who's quarterback.
But I love Dan Orlovsky because he was like they haven't played a real good top 5 defense all year. So if they play the Eagles, how's Brock Purdy going to do under duress? So
I thought about that too, but their defense is also very good.
Their defense can be very good too. Our offense is very good.
Give me the Cincinnati Bengals.
Again?
I love what Cincinnati's doing. I love everything about how they finished the year.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody's talking about how the Bills got cheated. And since he's like, who said we were going to lose that game? We were up 7-3.
And they were rolling.
It was middle of the first quarter. Though.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't the thing is everybody kept just thinking, oh, Buffalo
went down the field in less than 2 minutes.
The Chiefs too.
In the first drive of the game, Bengals went down the field in less than 2 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it was – I agree with that. Like, who knows what would happen? Like, if the Bills would have, straightened up and stuff. But the way they were pacing on that drive, it looked like they were just going to walk it down the field again. So, I mean,
we can't even say that, though. We can't even speculate like
that. Hey, you know what I can't say? I'm about to walk it on you guys. Let's get into Stump the Squad. Let's do this. Come on.
Sir.
Let's walk all over you guys and get me some FaceTime here.
That felt weird.
Stump the Squad.
That felt weird.
Yeah, what the hell? You got to give us a little intro or something.
How do we want to ring the bell?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. For all our dedicated fans, it's our favorite time of the show here, where we try and end with a bang, bang, ding, ding, big bang, ring, ring, roll. All the
what was
that? Every question we're going to ask each other is worth 2 points. We are going to try to stump one another by thinking about sports trivia from the dinosaur ages up to present times. You can thank Mike for his dinosaur contributions. You can thank me for the present time stuff. Anyways, the person with the most points at the end of Stump the Squad gets the rant of the week. Gentlemen, it's time to dethrone Mike. I said it last week. Let's make it happen this week. I'm going to let Mike start us off this week.
Oh,
let's get Mike going with his 1970. If
it's
he's in
not
1970 time traveling, I might be giving him 20 years too many. Yeah, let's go.
It's too recent. That's too recent.
All right, Mike.
No, so last week I had a question courtesy of Cousin Garrick. This week, my question comes courtesy of Uncle Mike.
Wait, you're outsourcing your questions too?
I'm being given questions.
Bullshit.
This is
bullshit.
We never made this.
You know the answer.
What's it like to have a family,
I'm
Mike?
asking the question. Hey, listen. To be a championship team, you have to have a team.
Bullshit.
Of the 4 major sports in North America, baseball, basketball, football, and hockey.
Not soccer. Got it.
How many teams do not have an S at the end of their name?
Nice.
I mean, what?
How many team names of the 4 major sports in North America don't have an S at the end?
So what team are we, what leagues are we talking about?
Of all 4 major
MLB,
sports leagues.
NBA, NFL,
all
NHL.
4 major sports
Okay, well, there's MLS too. There's
We're not talking soccer.
There's a lacrosse. There's
baseball, basketball, football,
XFL, USFL.
Did you listen to the beginning of the?
No, I really didn't. I'm sorry.
Oh my god.
Okay, In the
This guy.
NFL, NHL, NBA,
Can I look
and
it up?
MLB, how many team
No.
names don't have an S at the end? 8, 9, 10, or 11? And I do have them for after the question.
Dead air.
Don't all answer
Love
at
it.
once.
Love it. I think
No,
we're
it
all
means
counting.
it means they're deep in thought, everyone.
8,
Yeah,
9,
deep
8,
in
9,
thought.
11, and what?
8, 9, 10, or 11.
John's counting lacrosse teams, apparently.
I don't even know any.
I'm going 9. I don't feel like thinking it. 10 o'clock at
Pat
night.
All right, Pat says 9. Jamie and John have yet to answer.
I know there's 2 in each for sure, but I know this is a trick question because I'm forgetting about one. I kind of
That's-
like
that's
Pat's
what I'm at,
9.
Yeah,
Kinda
me
like
too.
his 9,
I had 9 at the beginning, so 9.
but I'm gonna go with 10. 10.
Okay, so Pat and John are saying 9, Jamie's saying 10.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I have successfully stumped
Jamie.
Jamie.
Yeah!
Yeah.
High five, Pat.
No,
Yeah.
don't ride my coattails.
I know.
I had it in my
the
head.
Sox and the Sox, the Heat and the Jazz, the Avalanche, right on top of my head. Hold on, don't tell me the other one. In hockey.
All right, we gotta get to the next person.
Anyway.
I got to the 4. I was like,
Okay.
dude, there's got to be.
All right, so the list is this. In baseball, the White Sox and the Red Sox.
Yeah, the Jazz and the Heat.
In
Ooh.
basketball, the Heat, the Magic, the Thunder, and the Jazz.
That's right. The Thunder is who
I
I
didn't
right.
think of the Thunder. Yeah.
In hockey,
All right.
the Avalanche, the Wild, and the Kraken.
Yeah,
And in football, there's no one.
none.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, fine. Jamie,
Here we
you're
are.
so smart.
And smart.
Do it.
Mm.
How'd you get that wrong, though, Jamie?
All right. So, boys and girls, let's take it back to the future.
Where are the girls?
Oh, we time traveling again? Yeah, baby.
All right.
Go
So,
in
in the
back
Super
in
Bowl
time.
era, since the wild card was introduced, which was 1970,
Hmm.
how many wild card teams have made it to the Super Bowl? Is
I
it
know
8,
one.
9, 10, or 11?
Wait, is
I'm
that,
picking my
really,
answers.
is that really your answers?
Yeah. Is it
Oh, 8, 9, 10, 11?
since
Okay.
1970?
Stop taking my.
Since 1970,
Uh-huh.
when the wild card was introduced to the NFL playoffs, how many wild card teams have made it to the Super Bowl? Is it 8, 9, 10, or 11?
I know
11.
one.
11, sir.
9.
Won that one too.
I'm going
Okay.
D. D's nuts.
I'll go 8.
Pat?
D,
Is that-
sir. 11. D is in D's nuts.
So I got an 8, a 9, and an
Mickey
11.
Mouse? Yeah.
11.
8, Mike, 9, John, 11, Pat. Well, gentlemen, I have successfully stumped the score.
Ah.
It is 10 teams.
Damn.
And I have the bonus if we're tied. So,
Damn.
Me too.
2 bonuses. Okay, cool.
yeah.
All right, who's next?
I don't have a bonus.
Jamie, who's next?
I also don't have a bonus.
Pat, take it away, bud.
Oh, okay. Who won a Heisman, a college football championship, a Super Bowl, and an NFL MVP? Your answers are Tony Dorsett, Marcus Allen, Paul Hornung, and I got enunciation on that too.
Porno? None?
Hornung
Pornana?
of Notre Dame fame, and Kenny Stabler.
Kenny Stabler.
I'll say
Those
Marcus
names again
Allen.
are Tony Dorsett, Marcus Allen, Paul Hornung, or Kenny Stabler.
I almost have to, just because of pronunciation, go with Paul Hornung.
Hornung.
You know, you have to do the thing.
Well, that's
I'm
where
gonna-
the,
I'm
that's
gonna
where the
do
name
Marcus.
comes from.
You said Marcus Allen, right?
Marcus Allen.
I'm gonna
Who's
go.
D, Pat? Who's D?
He is Kenny Stabler
Hmm.
of Raiders fame.
Yeah.
The Raiders.
Yeah. Give me Stabler. I'll take Stabler.
I got a Stabler, a Hornung,
Or
and a Marcus Allen.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, I have successfully stumped Rapid J and Mike.
Woo!
Marcus Allen. It is Marcus Allen.
Well done, John.
Thank
I had a
you.
feeling it was Marcus.
The other ones have won a combination of the 4.
Well, congratulations. I can't win.
Woo!
You get participation points, Mike.
Neither can I.
I don't need participation points, Pat. I have 16 wins.
I'm out of it too. I got -4.
All right. So,
So it's either John or Pat.
all righty.
Give
So,
it to me, baby. Right here.
I'll text you the answer,
Give
Pat.
it to me. Thank you. Dethrone.
what did you say? Hold on. I'm
I
getting
said,
my-
hurry up with your question.
All right, give me a
Jesus, bro,
second.
what are you
You're
doing?
the last one.
Not prepared?
No.
5
So
minutes.
Georgia and TCU was the largest victory, right?
Oh, Georgia won.
The largest margin of victory.
Largest margin of victory. Who was his number 2? Was it Clemson, USC, Florida, or Nebraska?
Oh, okay.
In what game though? Like what are you talking about? Like in what scenario?
Oh, national championship.
Okay.
Who won by the greatest margin?
The second grade.
Second greatest now.
Georgia and
Second
TCU took the.
greatest.
Okay. Well, my answer's out the door. I was honestly thinking the Alabama Notre Dame game.
Yeah.
So Clemson,
Watch.
USC, Florida, or Nebraska?
It's either Florida or Nebraska. I'm trying to remember when Florida pounced the crap out of who they played in their second championship game. And I can't, so I'm just going to go with Nebraska.
I'm going Nebraska too. They were
Yeah, honestly,
they
I
were
was
a
thinking-
juggernaut.
Juggernaut.
I was thinking Nebraska.
But for some reason, I think it's Florida and Tebow's second. And
Yeah, I feel like it's a
Yeah.
John answer. Dude loves Tebow for no
Yeah.
reason.
All right, John, go ahead and tell us it's Tebow and Florida won by 53.
I have success. Everyone picked Nebraska.
Yes.
Pat, quick, don't take Nebraska.
Yeah, I took Florida actually.
I have
Are you
success.
sure? Are you sure?
Are you sure about that?
I'm
I'll
never
give you a
sure about
retake if
anything.
you want.
Go on. You already blocked in Nebraska.
All right.
Nebraska.
Good job, guys. You got it right.
Yeah.
Nebraska defeated Florida 62-24.
Oh, there was the trick. There was.
But Florida in '96, it's defeated Florida State
Yeah,
52-20.
Mhm.
But in 2004, in USC's first national title with Matt Leinart and Reggie Bush, they defeated Oklahoma 55-19.
Okay.
Dude, championships
Man,
are not
Florida
fun to
didn't-
watch.
I
Boom,
figured Jay was right in that it would have been a Tebow Florida team.
Yeah.
No, because those are close games against Ohio
Really?
State.
No, that was
and-
the early days of Spurrier with Matt Werfel. Where they were just
And
putting it out.
they defeated Ohio State, I think, by 10.
Okay.
And
I thought it would have
the
been the
second
second one.
the second one, I can't remember who they played.
Damn.
All right.
Are we
Hold
tied?
on.
Are you guys tied?
Yeah, we're tied. Who's got the tiebreaker?
Moi.
They
Jay
both
said he
do.
had one. Can I
Yeah.
play?
No.
Sure, Mike. Well, you can answer.
I like
the
answering
10
questions.
Of the 10 wild card teams that have made it to the Super Bowl, can you tell me who was the first wild card to win the Super Bowl?
Wow, card.
Are there choices?
Wild card. No, not in time. Not in time.
I didn't think so.
The New York Giants.
Yeah, honestly, I think it was.
Yeah, I was gonna say Giants.
You're taking both of you are going Giants.
Yeah, you both are going with the Giants, forcing another tiebreaker.
And I have another tiebreaker question if you both got it wrong.
All right, we're both going the Giants.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Giants.
so it doesn't matter.
Well, the
That's the only
answer
one I'm
is
thinking.
not the Giants. The answer is the Oakland Raiders in 1980.
That's my second one. I'm thinking
Oh,
in my head.
guys,
Second bonus question or tiebreaker. Of the 10 teams that went to the Super Bowl as wildcards, how many won the Super Bowl?
2.
Person closest to the answer win.
Okay.
Of
Price
the
is
10
Right rules or
Of
not?
the 10 teams, you said?
That
Yeah.
went to the Super Bowl as wildcards, how many of them won the Super Bowl?
I'm going to go with 2 because it's
4.
the only 2 I love.
6.
Jonathan Sawyer, you have one stump the squad.
Woo! Red boy!
And Jay has tied you.
Woo!
Once again.
I got to do my own thing. Thanks, Mike.
Well, I'm not used to it.
I'm not used to it.
I worked really hard for that one.
FaceTime, bud.
Here.
Take it
Yeah.
away.
Woo! Let's go.
It's been like 21 weeks since you won.
Yeah, I never come prepared for a win.
I even texted John and said, I hope I win. I got a good one.
My rant of the week goes to my Philadelphia Eagles.
All right.
Getting the 1 seed after being in the
Did he
bottom.
get himself out?
That's fine. You can go. Being in the dumps
How do I do that?
for a few years after and Pat can attest to this, that we thought like pretty much this Eagles organization was going through a big rebuild after Doug Peterson left. I didn't know what was going to happen. So shout out to Howie Roseman. I never had faith in you, but you got it.
Same, dude.
But I was wrong. Jalen Hurts, I apologize. I was wrong.
This isn't a rant. This is an apology.
So it's my screen time. Everyone shut up.
Yeah, let him talk. Let the man talk.
Damn it. So my Philadelphia Eagles and Pat's Philadelphia Eagles have successfully obtained the 1 seed after being in the dumps the last couple of years. I mean, we went to the playoffs last year, but it didn't. We were playing an inferior team of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But shout out to them for getting the organization back where it needs to be in the winning track. And hopefully we can come out with a Super Bowl victory this year.
Hey, Pat, were you going to rant about how Carlos Correa's physical cost him $150 million?
No,
Who?
honestly, I was gonna rant. I got a project going on in my house, and these water people are coming in to put a filter system for my water. And a guy texted me after 6 p.m. and I'm like, why are people texting me? And the guy went, hey, just reaching out. Loved helping you yesterday, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I hate this guy. At the end, he said, go Birds. So I'm like, all right, this guy's not that bad. That was going to be my rant. I don't know.
Well, I hate to break it to you, but you're not making it past the division round. We're coming.
One of us is coming for you. One of us is coming, Mikey.
One of us is coming right now, baby.
One of us is coming for the boy.
All right, everyone. Well,
Cinco spot after dark now.
Jay, I'll see you in the NFC Championship game.
We'll see what happens after this week.
Yeah.
We'll be here next Thursday, 8:45. Follow us and subscribe on the bottom. Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. We'll be here next week. See you later. Have a good weekend of football.